Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. That's why you don't fuck with me. Oh yeah. Oh. Instead of a bitch, why the hell kill my fucking headset? Man, seriously, guys, don't call the police, okay? Seriously, I'm just doing my job. It's just that for some reason this headset thing magically always is near me for some reason. I don't fucking know why. Okay, who cares? That person's alive. Don't worry about it. But nonetheless, what's up, guys? It's October, and it's the month of creepypasta, the month of scares and spooky shit. So I'm here with the second creepypasta of October, and really, I just hope you enjoy this one. I like it. And a little thing with the final one on October 31st. Now, the first one is gonna be a short one, and then the second one I'm gonna release is long. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but I will tell you that it is my favorite creepypasta, and trust me, guys, I will work really hard for it. Plus, I got the new trial version for Power Director 13, so new shit. So I'm gonna be able to add new stuff in it. Like I heard it's better when it comes to sound customization and such, and importing stuff. It's some complicated shit, but nonetheless, guys, this is a little quick update before the video. Sorry if it's kind of long, but who cares, guys? I gotta go clean up the blood, and yeah, enjoy the creepypasta, guys. See you later. This creepypasta is called Liars. There was once a guy living in our neighborhood named Jimmy. He got picked on a lot for being a confident and a funny guy. His mouth tended to get him in a lot of trouble, and he soon learned his lesson. He was just very content with who he was and refused to change it. When people asked him why he let them wail on him for his blunt comedy and wisecrack, he would smirk and say, "Honestly, it's the best policy. At least they're not hiding anything from me, and neither am I from them." One of the kids he inadvertently pissed off with a rather crude MILF joke was something of a psychopath with a sadistic streak who didn't take kindly to an insult. So he rounded up the other guys who didn't like Jimmy, and they cornered him after school in the science room. "Your mouth got you into this. I want you to remember it." Brett, the ringleader, told him as he looked into Jimmy's terrified eyes. They grabbed some formic acid stored in the lab and threw it at his face. They stood around and watched him scream in agony as it ate through the flesh before sniggering and running out, pretending to be concerned and wanting to help him. When the paramedics arrived and were attending to Jimmy, who was no longer able to scream, the principal asked the boys if they knew what happened. The leader, Brett, explained that they were walking past when they saw Jimmy scoping around in the lab. By the time they got there, he was already in that state. The other members joined in and backed Brett up with some fake details as Jimmy tried to protest in silent agony. The principal nodded and told them that he would speak to them after he had a word with Jimmy, and got pissed at the story after he was at the hospital. A few days passed, and Jimmy was kept in ICU. With bandages on his face, the doctors salvaging what little they could of his face. His vision was still intact in one eye, and his jaw withstanding despite the loss of flesh. He was still unable to speak and refused to respond to anyone. He just sat there, eyes unblinking, and stared at the ceiling, bloodshot and filled with animosity. When he was discharged sometime later, he would not respond to anyone with anything other than the word liars. His social life was gone, unable to smile or even crack a joke anymore. He secluded himself in his room and began planning. Sick, victile thoughts started appearing in his mind. He would get them all, one by one. Decimate them, slice them, burn them, He waited patiently until the group would be home. Late at night, when they said their goodbyes and went home separately, that's when he was struck. That weekend, Brett received a package in the mail. Curiously, he opened it to find a VHS tape with the words, "For you," etched crudely on the front. He put it in and played it. It was a crudely recorded home video by an unknown cameraman who didn't speak at all during the duration of the film. It began with the camera pointing at the date on the newspaper. It was yesterday. As he zoomed out, he could see it was in a basement, a single light flickering, hanging above and casting an uncomfortable scene. By the time he completely zoomed out, it was apparent that this was no normal video. In front of the cameraman, and on his knees, was one of Brett's friends. He was naked, a dirty blindfold around his face, and a crude gag in his mouth. He was covered in blood, horrific burns, lacerations, and wounds. One particularly large one on his back stood out that almost looked like a wound. The cameraman with gloved hands took a gag out of the crime boy's mouth, and he immediately began to beg to go home. Please man, let me go. I did what you want. Jesse, Mike, and Keith, you made me fucking butcher them. I just want to go home. Please. Sorry. So sorry. He kept repeating it over and over, rocking back and forth as he did so. Brett's legs began to shake, and he felt the bile rise in his stomach. He could see the burned and mangled bodies in the background, the bodies of his friends, and all of them had markings on their body, deep, large cuts. The cameraman reached out for the boy's chin and lifted it up, encouraging him to stand. He did so obediently, as he was slowly led to a door off screen. Whimpering, Brett could see that what has been cut on his friend's back now it showed the word liar. The camera cut out temporarily. When it was restored again, they were no longer inside. They were instead out in the cold snow on the outskirts of the woods, and didn't appear to be an original man. The original man holding the camera was Brett's friend. He was whimpering and shivering as he held the camera in place for 30 seconds, pointing at the trees in the distance, hearing footsteps draw near and near. Where are you? You said I could go. You said I could go. The boy was screaming and crying, frightened out of his mind as the sound of crunching snow drew near from every single angle. It stopped. He turned around to see the mangled face of Jim. A horrifying howl blared through the speakers, and the word "liars" appeared before the tape abruptly stopped. Brett felt faint and darted to the front door, knowing what was coming. As he turned to run for it, he immediately hit something and fell backwards. The last thing he ever heard was the word "liars" as acid ran down his face and began to slowly eat away at his flesh. And the last thing he ever saw was Jim's face, contorted into a sick, twisted smile.